Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Pastor Bruce. Welcome to amvoice.net, One Man's Voice. Today is August 18th, 2018, and today I want to talk to you about the upcoming 2018 election. Now, I want you to understand something. I've been hard on the Democratic Party, mostly on the leadership, because I understand that the people that make up the Democratic Party, the large majority of them, want a good, strong economy. They want job security. They want to be able to live in their own home, and they want to be able to afford their children's education. And that's important to everyone. To everyone. Not Democrats, but Republicans want the same thing. Donald Trump has given us a good, strong economy again. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that is nothing. So when you're individuals in the Democratic Party are coming out saying we want jobs, we want better economy, all you have to do is ask them the question, since Donald Trump has already given us this, will you support Donald Trump in his continued effort to make America great again? And if you don't, will you step down from your seat? Or will you support Nancy Pelosi? I guarantee you, if the Republicans win the Senate and the House, Nancy Pelosi's gone. She's not going to exist anymore as a speaker. Okay? But this is what you have in the Democratic Party. I have heard nothing except for that rhetoric about, we're going to do better in the economy. You can't do any better than what we have unless you work together with the Republicans to make it better. You can't just walk in there and say, yeah, we're going to make the economy better. Go back to the Democratic Party and say, all right, we're their party of obstruction. Thank you, crybaby Chuck Schumer. And we're the party of open borders. We want everybody and their brother to come into this country. A great economy is not going to happen with that. And we want free education. We want free medical. A great country is not going to happen. A great country is going to fall because of that. Margaret Thatcher said, socialism is a great idea until you run out of other people's money. So how are we going to do all of this? Now, this is strictly for the Democrats. I want you to ask the questions to your leaders. Nancy Pelosi thinks that $1,000 in your pocket, plus, which is a bonus, it's not a pay raise, it's a bonus. $1,000 plus you get more money in your paychecks, comes up to about $2,500. Under the Obama administration, when they did that, that was a great move. Under Trump, it's crumbs. It's crumbs. Okay? Yeah, it's crumbs. And we need to open our borders. We need to have gun controls. And Chicago has the stiffest gun laws in America. Please understand that. They have the toughest gun laws in America. And yet, every weekend there's been killings by guns. There's over 4,000 black deaths. Where's the Democratic leadership of that city trying to stop that? With the strongest gun laws on the books, why aren't they stopping 4,000 deaths by guns? They don't want to. So that's Nancy Pelosi. Chuck Schumer, resist, resist, resist. Maxine Waters. Who is Maxine Waters? She's from a state that believes that they're socialists. That they're not going to listen to the American way. They're not going to believe in our democracy. They're going to do their own thing. And she's calling for hate. Here's a black woman who sits there and professes that we should stop the hate because of all of the hate towards blacks. And yet, what does she do? She goes out and she promotes hate towards white people. The President of the United States. Hate towards his cabinet. Get in their face. Push back. It creates violence in this country. And then you have Elizabeth Warren. Elizabeth Warren just recently came out and said all major corporations in this country should be under the control of the federal government. That is socialism. And the federal government will dictate to the American people all that they need to know. That's socialism. So how good is the Democratic Party running things? Now understand, over the last 100 years, I believe it's 80 years out of the 100, the Democrats have had control of the House and Senate. The majority of it, they've had control of the purse strings. Okay? And what's happened to this country? Under Johnson, they spent the Social Security Fund to fund the Vietnam War, paid down the Social Security Fund. The Democratic Party owes the American people. They're not going to pay them. Under the Democratic Party, Social Security's in trouble. Medicare is in trouble. Why? Because they're spending the money for other things than paying for what it's supposed to. Instead of saying, hey, you're charging too much for different procedures, they say, charge whatever you want, we'll pay it. And that's not happening. They've caught a lot of fraud, waste, and abuse. Doctors abusing the Medicare system. And it's important to understand that those two are responsible for billions of dollars in this country, and our government has failed to control it properly. And you want to put everything in the hands of the federal government? I don't think so. And then we have our little darling out there. Oh, the smiley little socialist Cortez. Cortez has no clue of what she's talking about. Unemployment is down because people have 2 jobs. And then Nancy Warren comes along and says, no, it's because they have 3 and 4 jobs, to cover up the fact that the girl is stupid on the fact. She makes a comment about Palestine and then says she has no knowledge of the Middle East. How can you make comments? And if you go back and listen to the newsreels about what she's been saying, she's been making a lot of mistakes. She didn't even know who Nancy Pelosi was, the leader of the House. She didn't understand she was the minority leader. She has no clue. And there are other gaffes in everything that she said. So she's made so many mistakes that somebody up there in the world of politics said, don't let the media in to your town hall meetings, because they'll only mock you for what you're saying wrong. Isn't that freedom of the press? But she's denying, because she's a socialist, she's denying the free press to come in and attack her for the things that she's saying wrong. We do not want ignorant, stupid people in government being nothing more than lapdogs to 1 or 2 people and voting to create a socialist government. We don't want that. Not if you're true Democrats. And when she comes out and says it's because people have 2 jobs, and Elizabeth Warren says, no, it's 3 and 4 jobs, they're trying to get you off of the fact that they have no clue what they're talking about. Well, she doesn't. Warren does, but she's protecting her. Why? Because she's a socialist as well. She wants government to control businesses in this country. Remember, under Obama, the insurance companies fell under his regime. He was the one in control of the insurance companies, the major ones in this country. Not even heard of in the lifetime of our country, but under socialism, they take control of everything. They take the profits of all of the companies in the country, and they redistribute that money out. Now, we know it's going to cost $31 trillion for free education and free health care. They're not going to be able to do it from the profits alone. So we know, and if you ask, they have no answer. Okay? Bernie Sanders or Cortez have no answers as to how we're going to pay for this. Well, Elizabeth Warren came along and said we're going to take control of the companies and the profits will go to pay redistribution. But then you're still going to have to raise taxes, which Nancy Pelosi said, we're going to do away with the tax cut. We're going to raise taxes. Is that better for America? When you raise taxes, it's pretty much trying to put everybody on an equal footing. Okay? And what do I mean by that? Well, just because you have a master's or a PhD, that doesn't mean you're allowed to make $100,000, $200,000, $300,000. Not when a person without a high school education can't even get a minimum wage job. So what we're going to do is we're going to put everybody back to work, and we're going to tax the rich who work diligently to get their education, work diligently to build their businesses or to become who they were. We're going to charge them 80%, 90%. Why? Because he doesn't deserve any more than that person without a high school education, or the one with the high school education just barely making it on minimum wage. Now, Donald Trump wants to improve that, but Obama, he created jobs. He really did. There were a lot of jobs created at minimum wage. At minimum wage. And then he turned around and said, people can't live on minimum wage jobs. Well, ladies and gentlemen, minimum wage is for high school students and college students who need to learn how to be in the business area, who need to learn how to make money and spend money. That's what it's about. It's not about trying to raise a family of 4 on minimum wage. It's about getting into the business and understanding what business is about and making a little money along the way. So what does he want to do? He wants to raise minimum wage to $15. What good is that going to do us? When you raise the minimum wage, you cause the profits of the companies to fall. When the profits of the company fall, then the owners of the company have to make decisions if they want to maintain a profit. What are we going to do? Let's cut back on the hours of the individuals so we don't have to pay out as much. Maybe even close the doors on weekends or at night and put people out of work. Or some cases, well, let's automate so we have less people we need to go in there. The machines will do it. And such as some fast food companies, you walk up, you place your own order, they tell you, you swipe your card, and somebody comes out. So you just did away with the cashiers. That $15 an hour really helped, didn't it? Caused people to lose their jobs. That's the Democrats. Spend, spend, spend. Tax, tax, tax. Now, again, I'm not saying that the Republicans are any better than the Democrats. I've said it before, I'll say it again. The majority of the people in Congress are lawyers, and lawyers know nothing about except how to bill high bills and spend money without care. Ambulance chasers who got a chance to make $107,000 a year are going to sit there and say, yeah, I don't have to chase ambulances anymore, so I'm going to make sure I do the right thing here. And think about it. All those congressmen on the Democratic side listen to 2 people and follow 2 people, Nancy Pelosi and crybaby Chuck Schumer. You do what we tell you to do. You vote the way we tell you to vote. Now, they did that with Obamacare. And look at the disaster that Obamacare created in this country. The outrageous prices that were growing. And you were being penalized for having something you don't want. You don't want high-cost insurance. You're a 25, 30-year-old. You're healthy and well. You don't need insurance, but you're going to be penalized for not buying insurance. That's a tax, people. And they kept increasing and increasing. And they told you that the prices were going up year after year after year. They knew that was going to happen. And the taxes, it was nothing but a tax bill, really. The taxes that were included in that were outrageous. So now President Trump says no. And if it wasn't for that idiot out of Arizona, McCabe, we would have gotten away with it. McCain, we would have gotten away with it. But he decided to vote with the Democrats to keep the Obamacare. Well, one of the good things that President Trump did was he got rid of the mandate. If you don't have insurance, you don't get penalized. Thank you very kindly. That's not the American way, but that is the socialist way. You don't do what we tell you to do, you're going to pay a price. You do what we tell you to do. So understand that it's vitally important for you when you go to talk to your leaders, when you listen to what they say. If they say we're going to create jobs, and say, then look at them and say, Donald Trump has already created jobs. Are you going to support him or support the socialists in the government? And will you swear now that if you win this office, if we put you in office, that if you go against Donald Trump and stick with Nancy Pelosi, that you'll walk away from your job for lying to the American people? Be honest. And the same thing on the Republican side. There are a lot of Republicans that are running that don't like Donald Trump. Why? He's given them everything. And I saw a sign, give us back the Constitution, something like that. And you have to understand that we just put a constitutional lawyer into the Supreme Court, and we're looking to put another constitutional lawyer into the Supreme Court. That's giving you back the Constitution. That's how stupid that sign was at the rally. We want our Constitution back. You're getting it back. Because under the Democrats, what they've done is they've elected liberal lawyers who make decisions for themselves. They don't use the Constitution or the law to make the decision. They make it based on their own political agenda. So understand what's happening in this country. Understand what you can do to change the country. Now, like I said before, I don't want to see a one-party system. But the Democrats have gone so far to the left, they might as well be called socialists. So let's get a new party up and running. Let's call it the American Party. We'll have the Trump Party and the Republican Party. And those who are with Trump will be in the Trump Party. Those that are against him will be in the Republicans. And let those two fight it out in Congress. But we're making America great again. Okay? That's understandable. Oh, last person. Cuomo out of New York. America's never been great. No, we haven't had great American citizens, have we? You know, what was the great American that created electricity? The great American that created the steam engine. Wasn't that Eli Whitney? Okay, how many great American scientists have we had? How many great American industrialists have we had? Were they right in what they were doing at that particular point in time? Yes, they were. But when we look at it and see what was going on, then the great people came out and said, this is wrong. You can't work children. You can't put them in sweatshops. You can't. And they fought for the rights of the workers. And they made working conditions in this country far better than what they ever were compared to other countries. And it's still that way. We have better laws of covering our workers than the sweatshops that are in China and Taiwan and other countries where they don't care as long as they get the product out. It's always attack America, attack America, attack America, because the rest of the country is not as good as we are. And wasn't it America that they cried for in Europe? And I don't say that derogatorily, I say that with empathy. They cried for us to come and join them in their fight for freedom. And America went over there. And American generals like Patton and MacArthur, they won the wars over there, joined forces with the English and the European allies, and they pushed back Germany. And they won. Those are great Americans, the greatest generation of this world. The victors, destroying socialism, totalitarianism, fascism. And if you listen to Patton, Patton would have said, let's go and continue in Russia and destroy communism. But we were partners with them, so we let them live. We said no. They helped us out. Communism and the democratic republic that we live in, have a lot of similarities. The only problem between the two is that Russia refuses to acknowledge that they need capitalism in their system. Capitalism makes money. And making money, you can redistribute the money to where you need it and want it. But they don't have a capitalist system. And look how bad their economy is. The only thing they have going for them is oil. And what about America? America doesn't have oil. Not as much as the Middle East or Russia. We have the American spirit. We have manufacturing that grew this country. We have politicians that grew this country. That's what made this country great. We live in a democratic republic, which is of the people, by the people, and for the people. And no other country out there has that motto. By the people, of the people, for the people. It's always the government, the government, the government over the people. That's why we are the great experiment that has been successful and the world wants us destroyed. You Democrats today have a chance to continue this democratic republic or to destroy it. Voting for a Democrat who wants to work with Nancy Pelosi or who will lie to your face and tell you whatever you want to hear in order to ensure that they get in so they can work with Nancy Pelosi is going to destroy this country. Vote Republican. You know that they're going to support Donald Trump. And Donald Trump tells you who he's supporting because they support him. It's your choice. I'm not telling you which way to go on this. I'm just giving you the facts of Nancy Pelosi, crybaby Chuck Schumer, Pocahontas Elizabeth Warren, racist Maxine Waters, and the socialist Cortez want to take you and control you. With that, I say thank you very kindly. God bless each and every one of you. Have a great week.